You always hear the word savings. So for today, I'm going to share with you 7 practical tips about savings. And as always, if you find value in what we do, in what we share, then apply it, keep it in your life and use it. And again, if this adds value to you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Hi, I'm Julian Pineda. I have been broke for half of my life, but I realized that life is so much more than just paying the bills. From being a working student to working multiple jobs for 16 hours a day, I did whatever it took, not just to survive, but to thrive. As a result, I was able to become financially free before I reached 30. My goal is to educate, inspire, and move people to be their best, and in my own way, contribute to nation building. The first tip is, in the event that you are using a credit card, you have to always pay in full. So for example, you get your statement and it says there that you need to pay, let's say, 15,000. But there is a minimum that you can pay, which is like 3,000. So people, the tendency is they pay only 3,000 because in their heads, okay, it says here minimum, so I'll just pay the minimum. What they don't realize is that every month, whatever is the outstanding, whatever amount that you don't pay, it will be charged to you. And this has interest which accumulates every single month. So you have to pay late fees, you have to pay other fees, and you have to pay about 3.5% every month. So this alone will save you a lot of money only if you pay this in full. The second practical tip is to prepare your own food. I know it's very convenient to just dine outside or to have your food delivered, but remember, if you use other people and their service, of course you have to pay for it. So if you want to save, might as well prepare your own food. The next tip is, if you are buying fruits, vegetables, and sometimes meat, it is best to get it from the source. Now, if you can, just go to the farms, go to the actual farmers who plant these trees and harvest it for you. Now, if you cannot do that, the next best option is to get it in your local markets, because generally speaking, this is way cheaper than buying it in the groceries. The fourth tip is to go for wholesale and not just retail. Let's go to the grocery. So let's take this for example. Some people buy these things in sachet, this soap. Now, what they don't realize is that if you buy this soap for a piece, it will cost you more than just buying it for a whole bottle. Because remember, there is a cost in packaging, there is a cost in repacking this, and there's a lot of labor cost putting these things in mini sachets versus just buying one whole bottle. Now, if you look at this, there are tons of examples, especially in the grocery section. There are things that you can buy for, let's say, sugar. There's a sugar for half a kilo and there's sugar for a kilo. There's for noodles, there's a 1 or 2 pieces of noodles versus a pack of 6 or a pack of 8 pieces, right? Now, not just only in grocery, this principle also applies to other things. Take for example, gasoline. If you want to gas up, then you go to a gasoline station. There are people who fill their tanks with just, let's say, about a portion of the full capacity, let's say 300 pesos, versus the full capacity of, let's say, 1,500. What they don't realize is that every time you go to the gasoline station, you need to drive your car. It means you are spending more gasoline going back and forth just to fill that tank. And aside from the money aspect, there's so much other resources that you are wasting, including your time. For those of you who might be struggling to put a savings portion to your accounts or in paying the larger purchases that you have, such as the house, the condo, or the cars, this fifth tip is for you. And this is to do an automatic deduction. or an auto invest, if you want to put it that way. What this means is that with the advent of technology, from the income that you receive, you can already put a system wherein every single month that money comes in, it already separates into different accounts. You can put accounts for the big purchases, like what I've mentioned, like the car, the house, the property, and you can also separate this into savings account. In that way, whatever is left in, so let's put an example. Let's say you have a bank account, let's say a payroll account or your regular savings. What you don't probably know is that you can open 2 more accounts, that makes it 3 accounts in total. So for this primary account, money comes here. Then automatically, every single month, whatever comes here, you can elect to put, let's say, a savings of 20% to this account, and the big purchases, let's say 30% to this account. So every time you open your bank account and you just see the money that's in here, you already know that that is money that you can spend, because what you need to save and what you need to pay is already not there, because it already is deducted through the automatic deduction system. The sixth tip. The sixth tip is about unused subscriptions. So right now I'm looking at my phone and I just realized that I have overlapping unused subscriptions. And what do I mean by that? When I got this phone, this gives me about 10 gig of data every month, which is great because I travel around, because I walk around. I am not usually just in the office or at home. So I need to have a big data. But since we are on lockdown, I didn't realize that I have unlimited data. So it means, what's the use of having 10 gig in this phone if I'm just at home or in the office? I'm not using it. So then I realized, in our lives, we can always check our subscriptions. Maybe there are things that are overlapping and you're paying for it every single month and probably you're not aware of it. You're just thinking, oh, Julian, it's just a few hundreds or it's just 1,000 pesos. But in a year, if you compound that already, that's what? That's like $200, $300 or about 15,000 pesos already. And I'm just talking about my phone. What about gym memberships that I haven't used since the pandemic? What about restaurant memberships? What about club memberships? Check your status. There are for sure other memberships to probably websites or magazines that you are not using. And if you only cut this down, for sure there are certain portions of money that you can save for yourself. That's funny. Okay, so thank you for my props right here. The seventh and the final tip has something to do with my example. Of course, it's not a toy. What I'm talking about is a car or cars. Okay, so my example is practically funny, but in reality, cars, my friends, are a major pitfall, money pitfall for you. And why is that? Probably you are not aware of this, but the moment that you purchase a car, once it gets out or goes out of the store, it already loses 35% of its value. Okay, yeah, I purposefully did not really move because it's really a shocking thing. It already loses that much value. Meaning, even if you go out there, then you want to sell it back, nobody's gonna take it for 100%. It's already diminished by that much. So, the car is a major pitfall. Yes, I get it. It is convenient. It brings you to places with so much ease. But is it really worth it? Imagine there are also maintenance costs that we are probably not aware of. Let's say your car is worth 2 million pesos. That car, you need to get an insurance for this, or maybe not, but it's practical to get one. So the insurance for a 2 million car most likely cost about 1 to 2%, which means anywhere between 20,000 pesos to 40,000 pesos. That is maintenance cost. If you don't use it in a year, then thank you. Imagine how many years you have this insurance and you're not maximizing it, right? So it's expensive. Next thing is you need to change the tires from time to time. You need to have change oil every quarter or every 5,000 kilometers. If in the life of the car you have like 100,000 kilometers or mileage, how many 5,000 kilometers are there? How many times do you need to do the change oil? It also goes with the battery. The battery life is just a year or two. My point is, there are so much maintenance costs that we don't know at first when we buy the car. So assess yourself again. If you want to get a car, does it need to be the newest model? Does it need to be the best in the market? Or you can get probably a second-hand car or something which is just mobile, just keeps you going from point A to point B. Now, if you really want one big and fancy car, then it's all good. But do you need the second car, the third car, the fourth car? And I know people who have more than 5 cars. And after all these years, it's the only time that they will realize the amount of expenses that is just wasted. If you just compound it, compile it, and use it as your savings, it could have been spent for more purposeful things. And that, my friends, is my tip number 7. So those are my 7 practical tips. Now remember, savings is not meant to deprive you. It is just your way to build that muscle, to build that habits so that you will have more money to spend for the more purposeful things in your lives. And if you enjoyed this video, I want you to comment what are the practical tips that you have when it comes to savings. Comment it below so that all of us will learn from each other. That's it for now. See you in the next video.